I saw this meme right on Instagram, and it was like, 30-year-old goes into the Botox doc and is like, am I going to look younger? And he was like, no, you're going to look like all the other 30-year-olds also getting Botox. It's a specific look. It's not a look of youth. It's a look of freeze.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That being said, I am a very proud and ardent Botox user.
But it's great. You can't tell. So you don't look like you've got, you've had loads of Botox.
That's a big thanks to my husband because he does it.
Oh, wow. That's good to know. I shall bank that.
Yeah, exactly. After this recording, we'll have a little chat. Hello and welcome to the Forties Formula, your go-to place for insightful discussions on navigating your 40s and thriving in this transformative decade.
We're your hosts, Amanda and Jasmin, two women that are passionate about exploring the challenges and adventures that come with turning 40 and what lies ahead.
So every season here on the 40s Formula, I am a little bit more excited for, a few episodes than others. And today is that episode for me. Kelly Richardson is here, a makeup artist and professional. I cannot wait to hear all the tips that you have for aging and mature skin. And we get to talk about makeup in general. So welcome, Kelly.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
And, makeup in general can be a bit of a divisive topic for women in their 40s. I do feel like there's the camp of this is the time to embrace our natural beauty. This is the time that we need to stop wearing makeup and really focus on, other things. And then there's women like myself who are like, makeup is the backbone of my healthy aging process because it can, hide and mask some of the imperfections. What do you think is the role of makeup for women in this decade?
I mean, why can't we have both? I really, there's days that I love wearing makeup. There's days where I just can't be bothered. I don't have the time or the inclination. But I do find, because people are so used to seeing me wearing makeup, when I don't, I get the, oh, you look tired. Are you okay? Are you stressed? So what I think, for me personally, I like the kind of the no makeup, a bit of concealer or a bit of blush, a little bit of mascara, use some like eyelash curlers, make your eyes look bigger and actually more awake, and then you're still looking barefaced. I do go out barefaced, and I really admire women that are completely makeup free. I still like to have that little bit of armour because I feel like when I have a little bit of makeup on, I feel like I look better, and then I feel more confident and I project more confidence then as well. Plus also it's my job, so when people see me without makeup on, they're like, oh, a bit surprised.
Yeah, for me, it's I feel like I'm a lazy girl, like I don't have the time to wear makeup. But I was just saying to Amanda actually earlier today that when I first got married, I would always wear eyeliner except for certain days where, I'd forget or I didn't have time. And my mother-in-law would always bring up, oh, you look tired today. And I'm like, oh, charming, this is my face. This is how I look. But now what I found is I've had my eyelashes done. That's like the one thing. And I'm like, right, now I don't need to do anything. I'll put on some CC cream. I actually made an effort for you today, Kelly.
Yeah, we both did. Can you tell?
You both look gorgeous.
But generally, I feel like I don't have the time for it. So what would you say for someone who doesn't really have the time? How can you do things quickly?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you said CC cream. That's my kind of my staple go-to. I love a good CC cream. But a tiny bit. You don't need to put loads of makeup on, really kind of, moisturise your skin, stay out the sun. That's the biggest kind of, aging as well, is the UV damage. I always walk around with an umbrella, even in the sun. A good CC cream, a little bit of it. A cream blush just gives a little bit of life to your skin, lifts your skin. It's hydrating. We don't want loads of powder and stuff on our skin as we get older because it clings into any fine lines and makes us just look, washed out. Just comb through your eyebrows, even if you don't put anything on them. Even just combing them through can just make you look a little bit more groomed. And a bit of concealer. Just always,
I didn't even know that was a thing, combing your eyebrows.
Jasmin's like, let me just, can we pause this for a second?
Hey Amanda, do you know of a really easy way to give your kids some good gut bacteria?
I do indeed. I'm giving my family a Keezy Wellness Elderberry Boost. They come in these little sachets. You just rip them open, pour it right in your mouth.
That sounds like fun. And I bet I could add that to their smoothies and some Greek yogurt too.
And what I love about a Keezy is that you can take it any time of day, and there's a product for all ages, even my 12-week-old little guy.
Akisi believe that food is medicine, so you know the products are clean and have no gums and fillers. They also take a science-forward approach and include pre, post, probiotics as well as polyphenols.
And the best thing is you can get 15% off full price items with free delivery when you use code Forties at checkout for any purchases in Singapore from their website, akizywellness.com.
And don't forget to check out their new Akisi Berry and Akisi Tropical flavours too. Now back to the chat.
You know, even if you're just combing them through, just like can make you look a little bit more polished.
Okay.
So it can be as quick as that.
You mentioned, like not putting on so much powder. Are there other like telltale signs that you're out of touch and old? Like what are the things that you want to avoid when you have mature skin?
Yeah, I think, too much powder and too much makeup as well. I encounter so many women that, they're pumping loads of makeup and putting it all over. And it just looks, when it looks heavy, it looks like a mask and it's just not natural. I think as we get older, less is definitely more.
Yeah.
Just using maybe different products that, we used to use in our 20s or 30s. I used to use quite a heavy foundation, obviously, before I moved to Singapore as well. If I put that on here, it would make me look like, like I'd been dug up, really thick, not to mention, getting really hot and having like lines running down it where I'm constantly mopping my face. But there's so many good products on the market now. So even like if you do use a little powder just to kind of set your foundation, there's like hyaluronic powders, which are hydrating. So they don't make you look powdery and give you that kind of mask-like finish. Also cream blushes, cream, everything is just so much softer on the skin and just makes the skin look plump and hydrated. We don't want that kind of matte finish, that looks great when you're younger.
Yeah. Well, and to that end, right? So, okay, you don't want to use too many products. So I'm always interested in this semi-permanent makeup, right? So it's like, if I don't want to do my eyebrows every day, for example, should I get them microbladed? If I want to have some kind of like contrast for my lips, should I get them tattooed? What's your take on the semi-permanent makeup stuff?
So, I mean, a lot of us, well, most of us, followed that 90s trend and completely overplucked our eyebrows in the 90s, and I can almost look at somebody and age them by the shape of their eyebrows. I either did it in the 60s or the 90s. But it's great as we get older, our eyesight starts to go, and we need to be in that the magnifying mirror. And I've got these ridiculous glasses that, have one lens and I can flip it to the other side so that I can try and see one eye. But then you can't get the brush there, so then I have to turn them upside down. And I'm probably absolutely ridiculous when I'm putting on my makeup. So it's great if if you can't see what you're doing. Also, if you can't be bothered, if you don't want to draw them in and they are too thin, or eyebrows can completely transform somebody's face. And I look back at photos of me when I was, overplucked them to now, and they're so thin, and they, I kind of look really surprised.
Yeah.
But making sure you use the right technique is paramount. So there's two different techniques. One is kind of microblading, which mimics the actual hair strokes. So it looks really, really natural. The other one is like a powder finish, which here they call embroidery, which is done with a machine, and it just looks like they've been softly filled in with powder.
That's what I have.
But and they look great, and it's getting the colour right. If they go too dark, they look really unnatural. Powder finish is better on more mature skin and oilier skin, because the microblading can kind of fade in between. If you've got kind of quite a lot of lines or wrinkles or crepey skin, it can kind of blend in with that. So it's just making sure that you get the right technique for yourself.
We were watching The Mummy. Does anybody remember that movie?
Yes.
The one with Brendan
Fraser.
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
And my husband was like, God, she looks really weird. And I'm like, it's her eyebrows. They were like pencil thin.
Rachel Weisz.
Yes, that's it. And he was like, oh my God, he goes, I couldn't put my finger quite on what was wrong with her.
Yeah.
He goes, but now that you pointed out her eyebrows, I can really see it.
I just watched the Pamela and Tommy
She
as
had,
well.
hers was like a pin stroke.
That was the trend,
It
right?
was,
And it was like, really, pluck them all out and then pencil them on really, really thin.
Yeah.
But also, again, as we get older, we start losing colour from our lips. So, the lip line can kind of disappear a little bit, or we can get hyperpigmentation where it discolours. So lip blushing is great for that. I often get people going, but I don't want them to look bright red. I don't want to wake up looking like I'm wearing red lipstick. When the procedure's first done, the colour is intense, but then as it fades, over, the next kind of several weeks, it just fades to like a really natural lip colour. So it can even out the skin tone. You can redefine the lip line a little bit. You never go over the lip line, because the skin on your lips is different to the skin on your face. So if you go over the lip line, then you're just going to look like you've kind of penciled over it, which is, again, really unnatural. So semi-permanent makeup is just to enhance, again, what you already got. Eyeliner, a really thin line in the lash line makes your eyes look bigger. I never do a flick unless I'm covering up a flick that somebody's already had done before.
I quite like a flick.
You can add
but permanent forever.
But you can add that with a
semi-permanent.
bit of liquid liner for a night out.
Exactly.
Do you want to wake up looking like that every morning? And always go like a dark brown, black. Black, the undertone for black is blue. So this is why so many people's eyeliner goes like that kind of bluey grey colour over time, because that's the undertone of the pigment. And then also what's popular now is like a kind of a blush, like a fading of so it looks like a little bit of eyeshadow just in the corner. That's really great for older skin as well, because it kind of covers up some of the crepiness on the eyelids. And again, so
I've never heard. What is that technique called, or how would I?
So it's just part of the embroidery. So so it can be done with a machine or by hand, and it just gives like where the line is, and then just looks like a little bit of a soft eyeshadow.
Interesting.
I've never even heard of that. See, I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, I love the idea of all of this, because again, it's sort of no fuss makeup, but I'm shit scared of needles. So does everything require needles? Does it hurt?
No, it shouldn't hurt.
Okay.
So there's the process is that I would measure, draw, remeasure, make sure everything is as symmetrical as possible. I mean, no one's face is completely symmetrical, but as symmetrical as it can possibly be. And then a numbing cream is applied. That's left on for about at least half an hour. And then the skin is tested to see if you can feel it. Once the skin is fully numb, then the procedure starts. So you shouldn't feel a thing. I say to all of my clients, the minute you feel anything, you put your hand up and we'll stop and we'll reapply numbing cream. So it shouldn't hurt at any time at all. Most of my clients fall asleep while they're having it done.
Wow.
Sleep. Anything that makes you fall asleep is
that's real
a thumbs up in my book.
Well, so we got our first tip, which is a little bit of concealer and a little bit of CC cream. Then our second tip is, if you want to go get the semi-permanent, what's your opinion then on the next tip of like Botox fillers, lip fillers? Like where does that play a role?
So I've seen some fabulous results with Botox and fillers on people, and where you can't see it, and I think it looks great if it's done properly. I never say never. I mean, I do personally think that people have it done too early, and some people go over the top, and it starts to look unnatural, and ironically, then it makes them look older because you can see that they've had a procedure done to try and make themselves look younger. So having too much Botox, the head goes really tight and shiny, or having that extra bit of lip filler, the lips look unnatural and they don't close properly. So I think in moderation, it's amazing. And, like I say, I've seen people have fantastic results and you wouldn't even know. But when they go that little bit too far, it's that's when it's
working against you.
Working against you, yeah.
I was actually having a conversation with my friend yesterday who asked me, would you get Botox done? And for me, I know what I'm like. So I said, I will just see more of my flaws. So I think when someone gets it done first, it looks incredible. Like your skin looks flawless. And it's like, that looks so nice. And then another wrinkle will appear and I'll be like, I think I need to get done here now. Or I need to do this. And I think the more I do it, the more I'm going to feel like I need to do it. And then I'll just end up looking like Sylvester Stallone's mum. So that's what I don't want.
No, I agree. And I see, that I think especially when people, have the lips done, they, they have a little bit in the kind of the lip line just to kind of smooth out those fine lines. And it looks amazing. Yeah. But then you get used to what you look like in the mirror. Yeah. So then when you have it done again, you're like, oh, just have a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then it's a little bit more and a bit more and a bit more and a bit more until, it's really unnatural.
You're no longer you.
No. I mean, I'm like, okay, I never say never. I haven't done it yet. But, I do think girls that are having it done in their 20s and 30s, it's like, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
The next thing you're going to be, in your 40s and looking for a full facelift.
Yeah.
So
I saw this meme right on Instagram, and it was like, 30-year-old goes into the Botox doc and is like, am I going to look younger than am I going to look younger? And he was like, no, you're going to look like all the other 30-year-olds also getting Botox. It's a specific look. It's not a look of youth. It's a look of freeze.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That being said, I am a very proud and ardent Botox user. So,
but it's great. You can't tell. So
you
don't look like you've got you've had loads of Botox.
That's a big thanks to my husband because he does it.
Oh wow, that's good to know. I shall bank that.
Yeah, exactly. After this recording, we'll have a little chat. So, Jasmin, you're all about that low-carb life, right?
Yep, have been for a while now.
So I assume your groceries look a lot like our groceries. Lots of fish, tons of meat.
Sounds super similar to our house. Honestly, we get the best cuts of meat from the Meat Club, the premier online source for top quality Australian and New Zealand produce right here in Singapore.
Yeah, we also love the Meat Club because they have a subscription service which makes sure we don't spend too much time shopping and meal planning. The meat just arrives.
And as a thank you to all of our listeners, new customers can get $12 off their first order by using discount code TFF12 with no minimum spend. Discounts are only valid through their website, themeatclub.com.sg.
And for more updates, recipes, and special offers, don't forget to follow the Meat Club on Instagram at themeatclubsg. And now, back to the conversation. So exactly, I think this is kind of in the same vein, right? So it's like women are wondering, should I do the plunge of Botox or should I do the plunge of lip fillers? On a less permanent scale, what do you think about like the contouring trends? Should I do this like highlight and contour thing, or have I missed the boat now in my 40s?
No, and I'm glad you asked this because I get asked this all the time, and I think it's because we are so inundated with all of these reels constantly telling us how we should be contouring, and I mean, they look amazing in a room with a ring light on them, but if you saw them walking down Orchard on a Saturday, they'd look like a cross between a drag queen and a tiger. Because let's face it, I mean, all that stripes, plus it's so much makeup. I watch them and I feel like my face can't breathe when I see them. So,
I hurt for you.
But I mean, I love contouring, but it needs to be just done in the right place. So it's just product placement, highlighting and shading is to create an illusion. All of the heavy contouring is actually a photographic makeup look, which looks incredible in a studio with lights or black and white makeup, but it just doesn't transfer to real life. So it's just learning where the product goes and how to use it. And that's one of the things that I do is I show people how to put that makeup on, where to put the highlighter, where to put the bronzer, so that it just lifts your face and rather than totally totally changes your face. Makeup should just enhance what you naturally have, not completely change your appearance.
And I've seen those people who are like, oh, I'm going to turn into Johnny Depp, or I'm going to look like so and so, and you're like, shit, you really do. And
amazing.
It's crazy what makeup can do. But what I've seen recently actually on Instagram, and I don't know why it's always popping up on mine, but it's saying, concealers are out, don't use concealer, you need to use some kind of color corrector. Is that the right thing? Is that something different? Like, as in, what do they mean by concealers are out?
So I think it just depends. So if you've got color correctors are great to. So I'll explain a little bit about colour correctors. So you've got something that's green and then something that's red. They're opposite to each other on the colour wheel, so they'll cancel each other out. So, you always used to see those kind of green makeups and be like, what's that for? And if somebody had a little bit of rosacea, so their cheeks were a little bit pink, you would put a tiny bit of the green on before foundation, and the green, you shouldn't see it, it would just cancel out the red, okay? Under the eyes, people tend to go either grey or blue. So if you're a little bit blue under the eyes, then you would go something more orange toned. And then if you're more grey, then something more pink toned. But colour correctors should only be used if there is a deep enough colour that needs to be corrected. If there's no difference in your skin tone, you just got a little bit of, we've all got a little bit of shadow under our eyes. But if you use a colour corrector that when you don't need it, that's all you'll see. So then instead of having like a slight shadow, you'll have orange under your eyes, or too much pink. So it just depends on each skin what you need. I mean, there's no one size fits all for makeup. It's very much an individual thing. We've all got a different skin tone, or we've got a different feature that we like, or that we don't like, something we want to flaunt or something we want to minimize. But concealers, go something that's kind of like gives it a bit of cover, but it's light reflecting, because that will push away, any signs of like wrinkles or darkness as well.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so cool about what you do, Kelly, is I think people think makeup artist. So if I'm getting married, I get my makeup done. Or if I have a photo shoot, I get my makeup done. But you're more of a coach. You're more of, let me put together a process for you that is sustainable for your daily life. And I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have about makeup, is that it's only for special occasions or it's only for a look. Whereas, like, I think what you do is so cool, because it's like, let me show you how to look snatched every day, just in a very natural way.
Yeah, so, I take people through like a lesson where we start off with just a very natural day look, and then how you can ramp it up, for the evening. So you can do that 10-minute makeup in the morning, or if you've got like, an hour where you want to really kind of go for it for a night out, then you've got the tools and the techniques to do all of that. I fill out a little face chart as we're going along, so that you end up with like a personalised paint by numbers. So that's your like guide and shopping list, and so you've got everything there. You can pin it up onto the mirror, and you can okay, that's my next step. And all it takes is a bit of practice. The more you do it, the better you become at it. So and then it just becomes second nature, and you can do it quicker and quicker and quicker.
I came across this article, which I think it was actually more of a research study. But what they did was they had women either go out with no makeup, doing their own makeup, or having it professionally done. And obviously, it was the results were that the people who had it professionally done appeared to be more, prominent and confident, and I think that must really sort of help with, people's confidence as well, because you feel better because it's done properly. But when you do it yourself, I feel like not everyone knows, because it's an art, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's
Absolutely.
Not everyone is an artist. So.
No, yeah. Most of us have been doing the same thing since we've done in our 20s.
There you go.
And we don't know how to change it, or we're scared to change it, or, we know that colour suits me, or this product suits me. But actually, as we get older, our skin changes, our eyes get crepey or droopy, our lips change colour, everything changes. So, you need to find things that suit your skin now. Not, God, when I was like, in my 20s, it was Rimmel, Heather, lipstick.
Oh, yeah, Rimmel.
And, if I put
blue
that on
eyeliner.
now,
Oh, gosh.
I'd look like blue mascara.
Yeah.
I'd look like I'd been dug up if I put that lip colour on now. It would be awful. So
you have
to change, and change with your times.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, and there are so many amazing products on the market now that weren't around then as well. So you really can find something that really suits your skin, or, your lifestyle, things that are quick or things that take time. So, just whatever suits.
And in terms of changing with the times, I know that you also are a hairstylist. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about going gray? How do you feel about, when's the right time? Is it cool? Is it uncool? What's the status?
So I went grey in my 20s. I did pretend until I was in my early 40s that I wasn't going grey. And I said to my husband that I was going to do a Helen Mirren when I hit 50, which is this year. And he kindly pointed out that was only 7 years away. And excuse me. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And why am I going to colour my hair every 3 weeks for another 7 years?
Wow.
So my hair's always been short, so it was easy. But I had it all kind of cut out, walked out the salon with like a grade 2, and I loved it. I felt so liberated, free from the shackles of hair colour, not to mention my wallet. And, my hairstylist always tells me, like, it's the most sought after colour now, but it's also the hardest to achieve unnaturally. So I get people asking me, like, how do I go grey? What do I do? Do I grow the colour out, or do I have it, blended out with colour? Or, if I know several people that let their hair grow out during lockdown, and now they've got beautiful long grey hair. Several others that did, I'm going to shave it all off for charity, and then just let their actual natural grey grow through. And it was a big step to have it all shaved off, especially if you go from long hair, but doing it for charity, they were like, okay, this gives it a purpose, and then I can just let my hair grow out. Yeah. And I don't know a single one that's regretted it. So, I love my grey hair. But,
that is such a cool idea, by the way. I had never even thought about that, of like, choosing to go grey, but while also doing something charitable.
Yeah,
I like
but
that.
It means, then you don't have like, oh, God, my roots. Because, the minute they get, a bit long, then you start panicking and like, okay, I need to colour it again. And you just end up back in that cycle. And, especially if your hair's dark, then that, the lines and the hair, you just look at it and you just think, is it going to make me look old? And, but I just think, if your hair is naturally grey, it suits you. It suits your skin tone. It's quite, brightening on your skin tone as well.
I went through the phase of doing I want to go grey, the grey blending. I did it for about 1.5 years. And I love it on other people. Like, I love the long grey hair. And I was like so adamant, that's it. I'm turned 40 now, I'm going to stop dyeing my hair. But then, like you just mentioned, when the roots come through, you're just like, oh, shit. And then I gained a bit of weight and I'm like, fuck, now I look old and fat. So, right, I'm going to do my roots until I lose the weight. And then for now, I'll just look fat.
You don't look fat.
And as a blonde, it's like, I'm not actually sure if I am going grey yet. It's like, I think it's just going to kind of like transition from yellowish to greyish, and I'll be like, oh, I guess that happened.
But that's quite easy as well, and that's what I saw some of my friends doing during lockdown. And one of them's got her hair's like kind of like, down to her elbows, and it's so thick, and it's just gorgeous, and she's fully embracing the grey. Yeah. But when your hair goes grey, the texture does also change as well. Yeah. So it can become more brittle and dry. So then you need to start using different conditioners and, using purple shampoos to take out the brassiness so it doesn't look yellow. And so, I fully embrace it.
I've definitely got those curly, whirly, grey hairs that tend to like pop up and stick out.
They do go curly,
I'm just like, oh, it's so frustrating. But I'm hoping to do that transition again because I love it. But the problem is it is when it's that chunky thing. I really don't like the roots, but I'm also not brave enough to shave my hair off. So I don't know. I feel like I need another lockdown, and then I'm definitely doing it.
Step out of society for a few months.
Don't say that.
I know. Sorry, I take it back.
Or maybe even just get it to a certain point, and then just have a pixie cut. Go short.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that.
Pixie Jasmin. You get an app, test it out, and see how you feel.
You can do that now.
Well, my husband always says I look like a little boy. I'll definitely look like a little boy.
Well, you mentioned dry, brittle, changing texture. I was like, oh, this sounds like my skin. So I wanted to ask you while we had you here, what are the skincare changes for women in their 40s? So, okay, we got the makeup products kind of on lock, but everything going on underneath, I would assume, also needs to change. What do you think is a great, a necessary skincare regime?
So always take your makeup off. That's one thing I've always stood by. My husband even laughs at, in all the years he's known me, I think I've passed out about 10 times with my makeup on, and then he knows that it's been a really good night. But waking up with your eyelashes stuck together in the morning is not a good night or a good morning. So always take your makeup off. Exfoliate. Use a really gentle exfoliator once or twice a week. It removes all that dead skin. It makes your skin look brighter. It diminishes fine lines. Gets all those new juicy plump skin cells to the surface, which just look better. Use a moisturizer. It doesn't have to be really fancy. Vitamin E, vitamin C. So both of those really help protect the skin against free radicals, which are basically things in our environment that attack our skin. Smoking, drinking, pollution, UV. like I say, stay out the sun if you can, walk around with an umbrella, use a high SPF. So if you can incorporate your CC cream within a high SPF, then you've killed two birds with one stone. You've, made your skin look a bit better and you're protecting it at the same time.
Yeah.
And retinol, that's a good product to use at night. With a retinol product, research it properly, make sure that you, it's not going to be too strong, or know how to use it as well, because you need to build up with retinol. You can't just start using it and think it's all going to just eradicate every line and wrinkle on your face. And hyaluronic acid, I can never say that.
I can never spell it. So
I know. It's like HY?
But that's really moisturising, really hydrating. And, like I said, so you can even buy powders these days with, that are hyaluronic powders. So they don't, give you that like matte powdery finish, and they actually hydrate at the same time.
I actually drink it in my coffee.
Oh,
So
wow.
my collagen has got the hyaluronic acid and the vitamin C. So I'm like, I'm
Awesome.
doing it from inside out.
And I
that's
literally
where it
do
does
it
the best
inside out
work,
because I
right?
inject it in my face.
Oh.
So, I'm a big fan of Profilo, which is the injectable hyaluronic acid.
Oh, amazing.
And that is a game changer, I think.
It just plumps the skin.
Yeah.
It makes just, and if your skin is nice and plumped and moisturised, always moisturise before you put any makeup on anyway, and actually really massage it and get that, blood pumping to the surface of the skin. And it just makes your face, it just makes your skin look brighter, even without makeup. You'd see a difference. So when you go and have a facial, you come out and you're glowing.
Oh, God,
because
yeah.
they've been
yeah.
like massaging and primping you, so treat yourself to a facial, look after your skin, look after yourself, it's yes. But as with anything, we talked about semi-permanent makeup and retinol, anything, any kind of cosmetic procedure, injectables, just really research first, make sure that you know any of the risks that are involved, and know that what you're good at, know what you're doing, know what you're getting.
What would you say is the biggest faux pas that women in their 40s should definitely not be doing?
Oh, okay. Like really shiny highlighter up here and really shiny eyeshadow underneath their brows. Yeah, because you just, you catch the light and you've just got two lines under your eyebrows, or you catch the light and you've just got like a line of like really shiny wrinkles, so that neither of those are a good look. So yeah, highlighter, less is more. And, if you're going to wear a bold lip, just make sure it's a good matte one, that it doesn't bleed up to your nose, because that's also not attractive. Yeah. And also, too much blusher. Like really, we don't want to look like Barbara Cartland.
So I do love like the bright lips on people. I think it looks amazing. But when I do it on myself, I feel like I look like a clown. I feel like my lips are just, I don't know. But anyway, is there a way of being able to wear these bright colours without feeling weird, or is that just something that's in my head? And
I think that's just in your head.
Okay.
Yeah, red lips, wearing a red lipstick, it's a commitment. You're committing to wearing it, excuse me, and it's a confidence thing as well. Some people put a red lipstick on and they feel powerful and confident and ready to, go and take on a room. Other people feel that, oh, everyone's looking at me because I've got red lipstick on, and because they feel self-conscious in it. So, excuse me, that's why, find the makeup that suits you, that you're comfortable with, because when you're comfortable, you'll feel confident. If you're feeling, it's like, when you wear your favourite outfit and everyone tells you how great you look, and you're like, oh, and you walk around, you're swanning around because you feel great because everyone's telling you how great you look. It gives you more confidence. It's the same with a lipstick, definitely. Yeah. It's just finding the right tone. And with the red as well, there's so many different tones of red. It's just finding the one that suits your skin tone as well.
I have a husband who could not notice less what I do with my physical body, right? Like, I gained 50 pounds in pregnancy, doesn't even notice. I'm wearing a burlap sack, guy can't see it. But what I will tell you is that when I wear red lipstick, my husband thinks it is just, I am a glamazon. I am the cool, I am so pretty. So that was the one thing that I was like, wow, he actually noticed. So for me, the red lip is exactly what you said. It makes me feel completely confident because I know it's the one thing that my husband can actually see. So for me, I love it.
I get the opposite. My husband's always like, oh my God, you look weird. Go take that off.
Yeah. And again, to each their own for the men as well.
Yeah, but also as well, do you think maybe if you felt like, I look amazing in this,
possibly,
then you'd walk out, feel it, and you'd be projecting that confidence, and he'd go, wow. So I think sometimes there's a lot going on in here, and I know if I don't wear any makeup, I'm like, oh, okay, I feel, I don't feel as confident as opposed to when I do. So, maybe if you found the right colour and then came out, he'd just go,
I don't know.
Again, you're going to have to see Kelly after this episode. Well, so we are running out of time, Kelly, and we've had so many gems of wisdom from you so far, and I really thank you for that, for bringing the heat. But I would love to know the question that we ask all of our guests here, which is, what is your 40s formula? What advice do you give to women to really help them thrive and feel their best in this decade?
So I would say self-care. Look after yourself. We spend all of our lives looking after everybody else. Put yourself first for once. Go and have that facial. Go and get that mani-pedi. Go and have a massage. Go away for a weekend on your own if you can, and your friends. Spending time with your friends. They big you up. They empower you. They make you feel, part of community, and and it's empowering. We're always with our friends, with our families, but actually spending time on ourselves, I think that's the 40s formula.
Definitely. I feel like we need to book spa day now, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I was like, so what I've just heard is that I need to get myself in the spa.
You can do it in a day. You can do it in a school day here.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Right? Very true.
Drop the kids off, get a boat, come back, pick them up, looking glowing.
Bed to Indonesia and back. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate all the wisdom that you brought and all of the great body positive and face positive and age positive talk. So thanks.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Guys, you know how much we love coffee. And if you want to show us some love, you can get us one.
Just visit buymeacoffee.com/the40s formula. Cheers.
Peter Lowe left us this review after listening to episode 6 with Tina. Love that you ladies are keeping it real and sharing personal stories. Love listening to this podcast on my walks. Keep up the great work. Also, I like the little Easter eggs at the end of the podcast. Very Marvel. Lol.
Well, we are so glad that you love Ponderings with Paul at the end of our podcast. We're definitely going to keep that coming. And also, we appreciate you walking while you listen. Guys, get your exercise and listen to the 40s formula. Before we go, please remember to hit subscribe and take a moment to support the 40s formula by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform.
Your reviews will help us to reach more people and allow us to continue to bring valuable content. It should only take a moment, and it's a free way for you to support the show.
You can also stay updated with the 40s formula by following us on Instagram at the 40s formula, all one word. We share behind-the-scenes insights, episode updates, and much more, so please be sure to hit that follow button.
We appreciate your time and support. Thank you for being part of this community, and we'll be back next week for more empowering conversations with inspiring guests.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, thank you so much. That was great.
I keep thinking, I can't help but think, right, when we chop this all up for Instagram and stuff, there's so many tips that we could use from you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Really, really helpful.
That was brilliant. Thank you.
Faster than I thought. It's like,
but the thing is, this is something that and it's, so I think the whole thing of, I need to prepare, actually, we're going to ask you a question that you are able to answer anyway, and you were
and
able
I didn't
to...
actually need, didn't really need to.
Because you know all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but by writing it down, I always think this is my thing from school too, is by writing it down, then you really knew it.
Yeah, you reinforce it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, so thank you.